Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We're here with another special edition of our series, Building Humans.
And as always, we are proudly sponsored by the Al-Mahaba Foundation and Dar el Kalima Publishing.
If you've been with us for the last couple of deep dives, you know we've been wading through some pretty heavy waters with Maria Montessori's Education and Peace.
Heavy is definitely the right word. We spent a lot of time, diagnosing the disease. War, conflict.
Yeah, it's been a bit grim, honestly.
It has.
But today, the tone shifts. We're
Sure.
finally looking at the cure. And I have to admit, reading the source material for this deep dive, I'm feeling a little, well, skeptical.
Skeptical. That's good. We
Yeah.
like skeptical. What's bothering you?
Okay, so here's the thing. We are talking about stopping war. I mean, tanks, bombardments, the destruction of nations. And the solution being proposed here isn't a new treaty or, nuclear disarmament. It's school.
It does sound a bit anticlimactic when you put it that way, doesn't it?
Right. I mean, a classroom, a chalkboard, and a teacher. How can that possibly be a weapon against a fighter jet? It just feels like bringing a permission slip to a gunfight.
And that reaction right there, that feeling that education is just this soft thing, that's exactly what Montessori calls the absent truth.
The absent truth.
We are completely missing its strategic value. We see it as a chore, maybe a social service,
Yeah.
but she sees it as the ultimate armament.
Education as armament. That phrase really jumped out at me from the text. It sounds so, I don't know, militaristic.
And it's meant to be provocative.
Yeah.
Think about it. Every nation on Earth has a Ministry of Defense, a Department of War.
Of course.
They have these massive budgets, trillions of dollars for armament.
Yeah, to protect borders, protect resources. That's just how the world works.
Exactly. They're defending things. Land, oil, lines on a map. But here's the question Montessori poses, and it's terrifyingly simple. Who is defending life?
Defending life,
No.
like healthcare.
Deeper. Who is defending the human spirit? We have ministries to protect soil, but where is the ministry to protect the human psyche?
I've never thought of it like that.
And Montessori argues that because we've ignored this defense, we're defenseless against war. We haven't built the defenses inside the human mind.
So we're trying to stop the war from the outside with treaties and guns.
When the war actually starts on the inside. Precisely. And this is where education as armament comes in. The problem isn't that we don't have schools. The problem is that the weapon is broken.
Broken how?
We're preparing children for school. We are not preparing them for life. And actually, the source material goes even further. It suggests our current education system is the breeding ground for war.
Okay, hold on. That's a huge accusation. I mean, a breeding ground for war. I went to a normal school. It was boring sometimes, maybe a little strict, but war, that feels like a stretch.
Let's test that stretch. Just, visualize a standard classroom. What do you see?
Okay. Rows of desks, all facing the front, teachers at the blackboard,
And the students, what are they doing?
sitting, listening, trying not to fall asleep, probably.
Are they moving?
No, not
Yeah.
unless they ask for permission. Or if the bell rings.
Are they talking to each other?
Definitely not. That's disrupting the class. You get detention for that.
So you have a room full of beings who are biologically wired to move, to talk, to explore. And they're forced to sit still, in silence, in rows, moving only when a bell rings.
Yeah.
If I described that environment without using the word school, what would it sound like to you?
I see where you're going. It sounds like a prison.
Good.
Or the military.
It is the barracks. That's the metaphor. The school is barracks. And if you treat a child like a soldier in a barracks for 12 years, what are you really teaching them?
Well, you're teaching them math, history.
On the surface, yes. But the hidden curriculum, the real lesson, is something else. They're learning that their own voice doesn't matter. They're learning to suppress their impulses. They are learning that authority is always right, and the only way to survive is to obey.
The text calls it the illusion of discipline.
Exactly. We see a quiet classroom and we think, wow, what great discipline. But that's not discipline. True discipline comes from within. What we're seeing is enslavement. It is obedience to the strong.
Enslavement is such a loaded word, but I guess if you have to ask permission to go to the bathroom, you're not exactly free.
You are conditioning the child to delete their own will. And this is where it gets dangerous. This is where the weapon of peace becomes a weapon of war. If you spend 18 years breaking a person's will, what kind of adult do you get?
You get a follower, someone who doesn't question orders.
You get what the text calls mutilated men, adults who are psychologically conditioned to obey. So when a dictator comes along and says march or hate, they don't have the internal strength to say No.
Because they've been trained to wait for the bell.
We've been trained to wait for the bell. They've been hollowed out. That spiritual embryo, that spark inside them, was crushed before it could develop.
That is terrifying. It's like the classroom is a factory for obedient infantry.
It is mass production.
Yeah.
The product is a population that is easily manipulated.
Hmm.
This is the hidden prison. We think we're educating citizens, but we're manufacturing subjects.
But let me play devil's advocate for a second. A lot of people listening might say, look, the world is tough. You need rules. You need structure.
Of course.
If you just let kids run wild, that's chaos, right? Don't we need to teach them to sit still?
And that's the most common defense. But there's a huge difference between structure and suppression. Think of a gardener. A trellis is structure.
Right.
But binding the vine so tight it can't grow, or cutting off every new shoot, that's mutilation.
So we're confusing order with control.
Exactly. And the system defends itself. If a child resists, if they move or speak out, we label them disruptive, we punish them. But that child is just fighting for their psychological survival.
It makes you rethink every detention slip I ever got for talking in class.
You were just being human. And the system was designed to stop that.
Okay, so that's the environment, the barracks. But there's another piece to this, isn't there? The whole game of grades, rankings, gold stars.
Yes, the second catastrophe, the seed of conflict. We cannot talk about war without talking about competition.
Now, this is where I might push back even harder. Because I'm a competitive person, I love sports, I love winning, and in the real world, competition is everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't teaching kids to compete just preparing them for reality?
That's the narrative we're all sold. But let's look at what that competition actually does to the human connection. In that school, how do you succeed?
You get the highest grade. You're number one. You get the scholarship.
And if I get the scholarship, can you get it too?
Well, no, there's only one top spot.
So my success is conditional on your failure.
When you put it that way,
Yeah.
It's a zero-sum game.
And this is the science of conflict at work. When we base education on competition, we are teaching the child. Your neighbor is not your friend. Your neighbor is your obstacle.
It isolates them.
Deeply. Think about taking a test. If you know the answer and I don't, are you going to help me?
No way. If I help you, you might beat me. Plus, the teacher calls that cheating.
Think about that.
Yeah.
Helping a friend is a virtue everywhere else. But in school, we call it a crime. We literally punish kindness.
Wow. We are training them to be antisocial.
We are training them for war, an I against you mentality from age 6. And then we wonder why our society is so full of conflict and greed. We spend 12 years telling them, beat your neighbor, and then we're shocked when they grow up and want to conquer their neighbor.
It's like a split personality.
But the text calls it moral schizophrenia.
Moral schizophrenia. That's a heavy term.
But it fits, doesn't it? On the weekend, we send them to church or temple or mosque, and we say, love your neighbor, be a peacemaker.
Right.
And then Monday morning, the alarm goes off, and we throw them into the gladiator arena. Beat your neighbor, hoard your knowledge. The child is torn apart by these conflicting messages.
The hypocrisy is staggering. We preach love, but we grade on a curve. So, if you take away the barracks and you take away the competition, what's left? I think that's what scares people. What's the alternative?
The alternative is not chaos. It's reality.
Reality.
Yes. Montessori argues the whole competitive model is a fantasy. It doesn't reflect how human civilization actually works.
Explain that. Because the world feels pretty competitive to me.
That's just the surface. Let's dig deeper. You had coffee this morning?
I did. Couldn't be here without it.
Did you grow the beans?
No.
Did you ship them across the ocean? Build the roaster? Drive the truck?
No, and no.
You are 100% dependent on the labor of thousands of people you will never meet. The farmer, the miner, the engineer. They are like giants carrying civilization on their shoulders.
We're standing on their shoulders.
We live in a single nation, a global network of cooperation. If everyone actually competed, if the farmer refused to share his beans, civilization would collapse in a day. The reality of human life is cooperation.
So we're living in a cooperative world, but we're training for a competitive one.
Precisely. We are living in a palace on a volcano.
A palace on a volcano.
The palace is civilization, built by cooperation. The volcano is the competitive, aggressive psychology we're creating in schools. The structure of our society depends on us working together, but our minds are prying to blow it all up.
That's a huge disconnect. So educating for peace isn't just about being nice.
Yes, it's about aligning our education with reality.
Yeah.
And this is the misconception I want to smash. People hear education for peace, and they picture an art class where kids draw doves.
It sounds passive.
It is the opposite of passive. It is a radical structural change. It is the science of peace. It means freeing the child from the prison of the desk. It means replacing the motive of beating others with contributing to the group.
Shifting from I win to we build.
Exactly. Because when a child learns that the success of the group is their own success, you have immunized them against war. You have created a defense of life.
This sounds like the cosmic task idea from the notes.
It's central. Every organism has a cosmic task. The trees make oxygen. The coral builds the reef. They do it because it's their nature.
And the human's cosmic task
is to build a supernature, civilization. But we can't do that if we're all fighting each other. We need to unleash the child messiah.
The child messiah, that sounds incredibly intense.
It's meant to shake us awake. It's not about religion. We think the adult is the teacher and the child is the empty vessel. Montessori flips that. She says the child is the savior of the adult.
How so?
The child holds the secret of our true nature, the spiritual embryo. If we just stop crushing it, the child will teach us how to live in peace. They're the fresh start. The adult is already mutilated by the system. The child is our chance to get it right.
So if we defend the child, we defend the future.
Yes. Protect that embryo from the barracks and the competition, and you give peace a fighting chance.
It really changes how you look at a report card.
It should. We need to stop seeing those things as measures of success and start seeing them as tools of control.
You know, it's funny. We started this wondering how a chalkboard can stop a tank. But now I'm realizing the tank only exists because the person driving it learned in front of that chalkboard that might makes right.
You've hit the nail on the head. War doesn't start on the battlefield. It starts in the kindergarten. And peace won't start at the United Nations. It'll start in a classroom where a child is free to help their friend instead of trying to beat them.
This is a lot to process. It feels like we need to completely reimagine what a school even is.
We do. We need to move from the school as a weapon of war to the school as a weapon of peace. It's the most dangerous weapon we have because it threatens the whole status quo of conflict.
The most dangerous weapon. I like that. It turns that whole soft idea of education on its head.
It's the ultimate defense.
So as we wrap up, where does this leave us? For the listener, the parent, what's the mission?
The mission is to recognize that educating for peace is a reconstruction of the human soul. To realize we've been building our house on sand, training for the wrong game.
And practically, what can someone do today?
Practically, look at the children in your life. Are you celebrating their triumphs over others or their contributions to others? Are you demanding obedience for your own convenience or cultivating discipline that comes from within them?
That is a tough mirror to look into.
It is. Rethink those awards that are just about being better than someone else. Ask yourself, am I raising a competitor or a collaborator? A soldier or a builder?
That's a challenge we can all take to heart. It's about shifting the value system one kid at a time.
Absolutely. And there is so much more here. We've talked about the system, the weapon, but we haven't talked about the person who suffers most inside it.
You hinted at this, the victim.
Yes. In our next deep dive, we're going to look at the ultimate victim of this system. We call him the forgotten citizen.
The forgotten citizen. I have a feeling that's going to change how we view society.
It changes everything. It challenges the very idea of who we are building this world for.
Well, I am definitely looking forward to that. For those of you who want to get ahead, in a cooperative way, of course, you need to get your hands on Education and Peace. We highly recommend the translation by Dr. Saul Wagado, available at Dar el Kalima Publishing.
It's a text that will absolutely change how you see the world.
Thank you so much for guiding us through this. It's not every day you realize your elementary school desk was actually a piece of military equipment.
It's a pleasure. Let's keep building better humans.
Absolutely. Thank you all for listening. This has been Building Humans. Remember our motto, host, speaker, and expert speaker, love for all, service for everyone.